You're watching a USA Swimming Productions. Welcome back to Deck Pass Live at your first stop of the Tier Pro Series. We're looking at day 2 here in Austin, Texas. There's a beautiful shot of the Lee and Joe Jamel Swim Center. And there you go, those guys are in the water right there. That's Rowdy and the crew for NBC. You're gonna see them tonight on TV. We'll be showing that, which is cool. And hey, I'm Brendan Hanson, your host for the Deck Pass Live. We're excited for day 2. We had a lot of really good swims and prelims. We'll get to that in a little bit. But right now, let's go to our first interviewer and talk to Rich Burke a little bit about what you guys got going on.
It's nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too.
And you know, they didn't invite me to be in the water. I don't know what's going on.
I know, I asked you, I was like, you're the only guy that's not out there. But
they're afraid I'd drown, that's why.
Yeah, so you started to kind of show up in the swimming a little bit. We started to see you kind of working with Rowdy a little bit. Let's talk about some of the events you got planned to be calling this year.
Well, I'm calling the NCAA championships again for the women and for the men, the SEC championships, Pac-12 championships, and then here this week at the Tier Pro Swim Series.
And I think one of the components of those meets that you're talking about that are so fun is the team races, right? Which you can really play the story out like, okay, they have to win this relay to kind of position themselves to win the championship. This meet, not necessarily in that kind of situation, but there is a point system for the Tier Pro Series that we're going to talk about towards the end of this. But you know, when you want to try to create buzz and excitement around the second year going into before we go into the Olympics, what are you seeing from the swimming side of things that these guys are doing to position themselves to be really ready to go?
Well, I entered this quadrennium, and Ryan Murphy had his struggles in Budapest, certainly by his standards. And here we go, kind of the second year and heading up to Tokyo in 2020. And it's just interesting to me to see how these swimmers build over time. I mean, you went through it. You know what it's like to go through an Olympics and then have to go through kind of the letdown after that. You did that, what, 3 times? So to me, as you build up, you got Pan Pacs this summer, then you have another Worlds in South Korea coming up in a couple of years, and then Tokyo in 2020. It's such a build-up, and that's what makes it so fun.
It's true, and then I just the product of the people that come out of this community of swimming and everything. You didn't necessarily grow up in the swimming community, but you've been around them now. You got a chance to kind of see that community, which is a lot of these people that are watching. What do you think of those kind of people?
Oh, fantastic! And I've had a chance to enter. Call other sports for the first time, and what I find about the swimming community is everybody is so laid back. And I'm by no means an expert, but I don't make as many mistakes as I did early on.
Yeah.
And early on, when I'd make mistakes, I'd be talking with Rowdy about something, and he's just so chill about it. Everybody else is so laid back about it. It made it really fun for me to get into it. Now that I've had a chance to call the Olympics with you in 2016 for NBC's 4K channel, and that was an absolute blast. And so, yeah, still learning, but having fun.
We're starting to see the swimming on TV a lot more. We're starting to see it kind of be one of the prime events, especially during the Olympics. But from your standpoint, you're in the booth, you're working with Rowdy. Let's talk a little bit about what your prep is going to look like for an event like this, and then NCAAs and whatnot.
Well, I try to prepare as much as I can ahead of time for the swimmers that I think are going to be in each event's final, because we're typically only calling the finals. And so I'll look at the psych sheet, and probably the top 12 swimmers that for their seed times, I'll prepare for them as much as I can. And so all this past week, been getting ready for the swimmers who are going to be here tonight. And then find out that I get surprised sometimes by the prelims in the morning. A lot of times the swimmers that I prepared for they aren't in those finals. And some are in that I didn't prepare for, and so spent a lot of time getting information on them this morning.
And then, I've called races with you, and we've worked together, and I think one of the biggest things I realized was how challenging it was. And you get to work with Rowdy now, who's clearly better than anyone. He's kind of been the name in the face of swimming, and just done an amazing job. I mean, what caliber does Rowdy bring to the show? And let's talk a little bit about Rowdy.
Let's talk about Rowdy. And I've told Rowdy this. I have worked with many different analysts. None of them are better than Rowdy Gaines. Rowdy Gaines is as good in any sport,
right?
as good as any analyst in any sport that I've ever done. He's so prepared, and he's so good. You mentioned that high octave, and he's so good at the big moments. And funny story, my first ever time working with Rowdy was several years ago, and it was a double duel between Arizona and I can't remember who the other team was. It might have been USC, but it was in Tucson. And so it was men and women, so 4 teams to prepare for. And you ask about my prep. Well, when I can, I like to create my own lane sheets along with the great ones that Larry Hurd does for USA Swimming. And I put them side by side because they have different kinds of information. And but for this dual meet, I didn't have time to drop my own swimmers into their lanes. So I had bio information, but it was all alphabetical. And so I'm having to hunt and peck for this, and I've got my sheets that I've taped to the table. And because there's 4 teams all over the place, well, it's outdoors in Tucson, the wind picks up.
Right.
And here comes this legend, Rowdy Gaines, walking down the gangplank toward me, and my papers are blowing all over the place, and I've never met him before. And I'm saying, oh my gosh, here he comes. What's this guy going to be like? I've heard he's a great guy. He's going to take a look at me with my papers flying all over the place, and he's going to think, man, this guy's a joke. I tell you what, he treated me like we'd been working together for years. I was so comfortable. We went down, we nailed the open, we did the event. It was a blast, and now I've probably worked with Rowdy more than any other analyst.
Yeah, he's just one of those guys that's just really, I mean, the word always comes to me is he's just so passionate about the sport, and every time I see him, he's just so excited to be on the pool deck. Well, Rich, we really appreciate you coming on the show. Thanks for coming in. We're excited to see you up in the booth later tonight. Guys, make sure you are watching it on TV when they do show the Pro Series. And these guys are just top notch, man. I've worked with you, and you're just A-class all the way through, man. I appreciate it.
Well, thanks a lot. I appreciate that, too. I just got to say, we had so much fun calling the Olympics
we did, yeah.
NBC's 4K channel. Yeah. How about that next to last night?
Yes. I mean, it was just, that was the first time I've ever been on that side of the camera, you know? And it was just something else, man. It was a lot of fun. It was even more of a blast to do with you. So.
Yep, absolute blast.
All right, let's go to commercial. We'll be back in a little bit. This is Brendan Hansen, Deckfast Live.
How's that? Okay.
Is the
30 seconds.
And welcome back to the Austin, Texas Swim Center. You can see there, one of the things that we're going to be talking about at this Pro Swim Series is the race beyond the race. All of these athletes will be trying to score points to ultimately score as many points to be the #1 swimmer, male and female side, for the Pro Swim Series. To be able to do that, if you win an event, you score 5 points. Second place is third. Third place is first. Is 1 point. And so you can see our leaders right there at the bottom of your screen. And the beauty of this is that these athletes, many of them being professionals, this is a big money maker for them. Though, if they're the leader and the winner at the end of the 6 stops of the tier per series, they will win a large check. And also, this is actually pretty cool, they'll win a 1-year lease of a BMW, which is a huge sponsor for USA Swimming. So lots on the table for these athletes as they go into it. And let's talk a little bit about, after preliminaries, the names and faces we're going to see tonight. Obviously, many of you have heard these names before. We have the 100 backstroke. You can't say that event right now without talking about Ryan Murphy and, of course, his teammate Jacob Hebley. He's going to be in there. They made it a pretty tight race last night. I expect to be the same tonight. We also are going to have Katie Miley, Olympian in the 100 breaststroke. Along with her is Molly Hannes. Both of them are going to be going at it. In the 200 fly, Haley Flickinger is going to be in there. She's smooth, controlled 200 fly this morning. I expect her to post something up tonight. And then in the 200 IM, Melanie Margalis just really shut it down this morning, and at the end of that, the 200 IM, so I'm excited to see what she can do in finals. And then Chase, with the 2 swims he had last night, it's hard not to talk about him anytime right now. He's just such a hot topic. In the 200 IM, Chase Kalish is really going to have a heck of a race. So we've got a lot going on. Oh, I can't help it. I'm sure Rowdy's going to talk about it more than I will. The 100 freestyle is tonight, and in that 100 freestyle is Nathan Adrian, and at this point, I'm in awe of how many times he finds a way to put his hands on the wall. So, again, millions of Olympians that are going to be swimming tonight. We have, I think, a total of 15 in the event, 32 medals total, 17 of them being gold. A lot of these swimmers tonight. Make sure, if you can come out tonight, usaswimming.org, buy your tickets, or show up at the front door. Tiers given away, thunder sticks, Let's make this place loud. It's going to be exciting. But for Brendan Hansen in Austin, Texas, we'll see you guys after finals tonight. Stay tuned for Deck Pass Live later after finals.